I think I'm playing pretty well around the Betsy, and we almost always get an advantage around mid and jungle. The problem is that we don't give advantage to the other lanes with the advantage we have mid lane. We don't spread the advantage on the map, and we need to work on that, me and Betsy.
Well, the advantage that Airwax helped Betsy crew in game 1 gave them a 1-up in the series against HUMA.
It's almost like they just talked to him right now after game 1, because that's exactly what happened in the game. Betsy got super fed in mid lane around Airwax, of course. Side lanes were suffering a little bit. You know, the failed dive on bottom side. Obviously, Freddy could have TP'd in early, and Freddy struggled top lane a little bit. But when Betsy was that far ahead and Airwax was just a monster on Gragas, it didn't matter.
Yeah, still the highest jungle gravity of any team in the European LCS. Second only is
higher than your hair.
It is. A little bit taller than that, yeah. My hair is currently at a 21% height. They're at 24% jungle gravity of the time, up to 15 minutes. But that's an aside. ROCCAT now blue side. HUMA picked red for this particular game. Last time around, ROCCAT banned Jax Callister Corki. Adjustment already as HUMA.
See,
remove the Zir.
Gabriel can play Zir.
He can.
I wonder if HUMA is afraid of either one, a potential counter pick from Betsy if they take a Zir early, or that ROCCAT would sort of first pick the Zir. But then I feel like you can put up or you trade like a Zir for a Poppy in Italy or something like that, and you get like 2 extremely strong power picks for the Zir instead of banning it on red side, where you have 2 picks in your first rotation. Very early, HUMA is saying we don't want to deal with this champion, and currently we don't want to play it either. Because again, Nidalee is open at this point. It was open last game. Rudy picked it and
didn't do a lot with it.
Couldn't pressure at all. First of all, lane swap, and then he didn't maximize his farm as Nidalee, which is probably the worst thing you can do. So it is banned away this time around. Airwax won't get to play it. Gragas is open for him. Poppy again, we will see a lot as a first pick. We didn't see it in the last game. So Gragas could be a potential first pick for Airwax if he wants to play that fantastic jungler again.
1 game played on stage for Freddy on that Poppy.
Yeah.
More than that on Rammus. Just doesn't decide if they wanted to pick something a little different. The Lucio was a high priority for ROCCAT
is
on
open
the
as
right
well.
side, and as is Sivir was banned in the previous game.
Yeah. So a lot of good picks open here.
Flex Trundle.
Interesting with the flex. This is again, it's supposed to be a takeaway from Whirlip. Like we ban Jax, we take your Trundle. That's been like your 2 main split pushers to use. They apparently evaluate it so high that they don't take it over like a Sivir Graves or Sivir Gragas. Like Sivir Gragas now from HUMA would be a very, very strong teamfight setup already from the first 2 picks.
Well, you can't really blame ROCCAT when you consider it was Whirlip's almost single-handedly turning the Challenger Finals against Copenhagen Wolves.
I feel like it's also ROCCAT kind of saying there are one player we're afraid of, and that is Whirlip.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of focus on him in the pick and ban phase. Obviously there are 2, well, 1 AD carry ban and 1 mid lane flex ban against Gabro at the same time, but it's more the early priority on a Trundle pick here. And Lulu was open as well. Pick that was banned by HUMA in the last game. Obviously there were a lot of good picks open here.
So 1 game played for Lulu inside Godbro's hands. We've seen none for
I disagree with that rotation from HUMA a lot.
ROCCAT now secure Gragas and Sivir.
That should have been the lock-ins from HUMA, because Lucian and Lulu, it looks fancy because SKT has played it a lot and like won a lot of games with it if you look back to Season 5. But it's a comp that can struggle against heavy frontline compositions because of Lucian's obviously fairly low range. It's hard for him to take down these tanks very effectively. And he needs to get like his 4, actually even 5 item point before he becomes that massive threat even against the tanks. So I'm surprised. Also because Airwax had a great Gragas game. Sivir is a fantastic pick for teams who don't focus on the AD carry being the carry itself. Sivir just has so much value. I think coming into playoffs of the EU LCS, this is going to be like the probably most contested AD carry.
Sivir's back.
I mean, Sivir is back, and she's going to be picked in almost every single game. So I'm surprised HUMA let that one go to play the Lucian Lulu comp.
It is good you mentioned that. We are on 6.5. We are not on 6.6. This is what everybody's playing on live at the moment.
Which obviously means Kalista gets nerfed in the next patch as well.
Hence the reason she was banned and picked so early on. Earlier today, on the side of HUMA, they lock in the Thresh and the Kindred. So Rudy, going back to the carry roots with the Kindred. 3 games, actually. Undefeated throughout, I believe it was just the Challenger Finals. I have to look back for that one.
Very squishy comp, but that's where the Kindred ulti obviously has a lot of value coming in. But once again, it's
into Gragas as well. A little more
that's
difficult.
the problem. Gragas is one of the picks who does well into Kindred in team fights.
Yeah.
Because you can always just knock people out of that Kindred ulti straight away. And your entire team can stay inside the Kindred ulti at the same time. Janna can do the same, by the way, if they lock in this one here from ROCCAT side.
So Deficio or ROCCAT going to be looking to lane swap again. Maybe try mitigate some of the weaknesses of this Kindred. They've got themselves the Sivir Janna lane, so they can super push with that one.
Kindred is stronger than Gragas early, but I don't think it's not like a Nidalee Gragas matchup, so I don't think you have to lane swap here. From ROCCAT side, Sivir Janna is one of the most obnoxious lanes to play against because they will literally just push you 24/7. There's no brain in it. It's just push, 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 push. Oh, are you trying to do anything? Either spell shield or Janna shield and just keep pushing. A Ignite Thresh lane with Lucian would have some kill pressure, but again, it is so difficult to set that kill up against Janna Sivir. So if ROCCAT are playing standard lanes, because they want to trundle 1v1 against whatever Whirlip is going to pick to top lane, definitely an option. But Sivir is very good in lane swaps. Like, that's one of the things about Sivir. She's fine in lane because she can push, but she's also very good in lane swaps because of the tempo she brings. She's so fast at clearing the waves, getting to these towers very quickly, and then get slightly ahead every time in these lane swaps. So
the Poppy does get locked in here for Whirlip. Going to opt into their matchup. We know how it goes early, we know how it goes late. It is a very common lane. Whom have not got the greatest wave clear. They're going to be quite reliant on Gobro in the early stages. I mean, the culling is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay for them.
It's pretty good, but...
I definitely don't think that's a weakness for them. I mean, they end up with obviously a teamfight composition, but you into Trundle Gragas with the Lucian as your main damage dealer. That's where we're going to see in this game. We're going to see Holy Phoenix probably struggle to deal enough damage. So it's going to rely more on what can Rudy do. Does he get a fully stacked Devour very quickly? Is he actually a threat in these fights? Whirlip is able to dive the backline, get onto the Sivir, because once you get to Sivir, she's not really going to escape from you. And can you stick to her with the Iceborne Gauntlet? So there are options definitely from HUMA, and I think it's less risky than the 1-3-1, you know, full-on snowball early comp they played in the last game. I like it more in that case. I just think the first rotation, when Gragas, Sivir are there and you abandon away to Nidalee and Kalista, I mean, that's your first two picks instantly.
So we have to decide, or we have to watch this game closely. Will Lulu Lucian be game-changing for HUMA? Hashtag HMA win. Or will Gragas-Sivir combination allow ROCCAT to pick up their second win and get themselves one step closer back to the LCS? Freddie asked you guys to jump on Twitter. Team votes were in favor of HUMA previously. Was it 66 or 67%? I can't remember.
And that's why these guys are watching from home and not sitting right here, because we kick off people who pick the wrong thing. First Mithy.
Kick them off if you make the wrong prediction. That's Deficio's policy today, as it turns out. But we'll find out how these guys handle themselves in game. I'm also very excited to see whether or not lane swap is going to play out, because ROCCAT got themselves a couple of steps in the lead. ROCCAT flag currently lit up. Will it remain ROCCAT, or will it get changed to HUMA?
Well,
we're about to find out.
It's a good point again with the swap. We can honestly sometimes just ignore the compositions and everything and just look at which team would be the best in a swap.
30 seconds.
And in the last game was ROCCAT. So they might say, you know, we want a lane swap no matter what anyway, because we feel like HUMA is a weak lane swapping team. And then it doesn't matter what 2v2 we have, what 1v1 we have in top lane. We just think we are better as a lane swapping team. And that's obviously in promotion tournament a very reliable strategy.
It is a gigantic advantage to have when you consider these teams have played nearly countless games in lane swaps, in scrims, when it is the name of the game. So look at this, lane swap shenanigans.
It's actually HUMA setting it up this time, and now we might be in one of these situations where they're saying, alright, they're probably going to go top again and lane swap. We're going to play 2v2 because we have an offensive summoner as well on our support here, so we're going to take that 2v2. They're going to show up top now.
They're definitely going to do it.
And now they're going to be like, really?
Bugger.
You guys on the bottom side now? We're going to lane swap again? This is tricky stuff for HUMA, and the guessing game is very difficult. Unless you actually do invade in and you try and find them, which is also difficult to do, it becomes very hard to 100% spot when it is a lane swap and when it is standard lanes. And they are going to find Freddy showing his face top lane. They're probably going to be disappointed.
All right, well, let's see how Freddy plays that lane swap out then. He'll be the first one to find himself some trouble. You can see the keystones. No real surprises yet. Further, on Rudy's Kindred, he's done that before.
Yep.
Warlord's Bloodlust for tabs on that server. We know their career's doing that a lot more frequently these days. Seen it a couple times, Lucian, I think, as well. And the Critiche build, super core for tabs, get that lifesteal up.
Of course, I mean, a lot of the Koreans AD carry do take it. They like to play very safe. Value the sustain, where a lot of the European AD carries, when you talk to them, is all about damage, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're on favorable battle because late game, they're, what is it, 112 damage on the hits in the end. I could be slightly wrong there, but it's up close to it. It's obviously massive, you know, full stack. It's big in these late game team fights. Also, of course, favorable battle on Rudy. After Devour builds came in for Kindred, it is extremely strong. They are looking for mid lane here. Betsy is around the bottom side.
Glacial Path,
And will
and
blow
that
out.
was just way too easy. Glitterlance will find Betsy, but there's no additional follow-up.
Gabro obviously only level 2 at this point, had no Whimsy just yet. Otherwise, when you set up this gang, if you lose level 3, play aggressive, you see the claw, you Whimsy her.
If
then
Rudy
you gank her.
was Gragas from a first rotation pick, maybe Flash Body Slam.
I mean,
No.
Betsy probably just flashed out, but yeah, I mean, sure.
Flash for Flash.
If you look at it that way,
That's what I'm doing. That's going to be my narrative of this game. I want to, but I mean, you have to measure the impact. When a team prioritizes or like really early picks certain champions, in this case it's the Lulu Lucian.
that was a
Let's
pretty
see how they work out. Freddy got loaded.
pretty strange kill on tower. They wanted to make sure it was bouncing, so they actually had all 3 members stay and kill it and share golds, and we didn't see the standard of give you a top lane and everything, but because again, as we talked about, Sivir and also add in a Janna makes it even
Till
better
the
for her.
ADCs.
She's fantastic at clearing and pushing in these waves so fast. Get to this tower very quickly. Freddy joined them early, so yes, okay, they shared gold, but now Freddy's just sitting and getting extra farm. And what? Look at your minimap. Right now, Lucian just ran past Inhibitor. Sivir is already here at tower, which means Willow will get tower, but then he gets pushed off. Rudy's trying some cheesy stuff here and see if he can force taps away, ends up getting a flash forward.
So that's going to be a little bit punishing on Tabs if he decides to stick around. Holy Phoenix may be the next target.
They'd have to do it again to
Flash
punish
and
him really.
heal, body slam, trade flash. So both ADCs.
Look top lane here.
Dun,
Pink was
dun.
put
There is
down.
some wards. There's a teleport available for Freddy if action breaks up. Noxiax and Tab. There we go. Teleport coming in from the troll. Noxiax in a little bit of trouble. Rudy's left for dead. The pillar cuts off his path of escape. First blood picked up, donated to Freddy.
You called it. There's TP for Freddy. Obviously, the play in HUMA's mind is like, we just forced the flash, we gotta do more.
Hold that thought. Betsy
Betsy?
gets pinned
Oh,
against
no.
the wall, but he's not
Okay.
locked out yet.
Even
The
following them
Eventual
out.
God is coming out. Roots cast in place. Noxiax looking, winding up the gale. Tags cast. A flash over from Freddy. He's got red buff and a pillar, and he's hungry. Chomping down on the cheese. Cast is down. Kill secured by Betsy.
So again, for HUMA, they're like, all right. So they were faster on the swap. If we stay here with our jungler, we can maybe force taps away. That means we get some farm on Whirlip. Taps uses flash, and they're like, all right, so that didn't work. We got flash, okay, that's something. How do we punish it? Oh, let's go and gank it again. Not realizing the TP is obviously there from Freddy. And also some miscommunication it looked like. Because when the fight actually happened, Rudy jumped in when the rest of the team kind of jumped out. Like, look here. So they go in to see TP. Look at the lantern from Kaz. So actually say, what, take it, jump out. Rudy's like, ah, guys, they're going in. Like, oh, okay. And then obviously he ends up dying 1v3. Super easy kill for ROCCAT. And then Betsy is trying.
He makes good bait.
He does make a lot of good moves here. Dodges the hook. Doesn't just kick you out of the door, actually falls you out of the door as well.
Also like Noxiac. Not the most difficult of predictions on that Howling Gale. And just to make it stick, we're not done yet. Elix does not get pinned against the wall by the heroic charge. Rolls out the barrel, goes back in with a body slam. Summoner heal's been used, a double knockup from Noxiac. A flash forward, drops the keg down onto Rudy's head. Jungler's lives traded 1-for-1.
I like the lane swaps in this series here. It's not tower trading, it's just keep fighting around, you know, on the map constantly, but it's still gonna be another tower for ROCCAT. So like, HUMA is trying to force fights instead of playing the trading game. It's just not really working for them because they are picking the wrong fights or not respecting TP. Bot lane, they are pushing in. Freddy's trying to pick up the farm he can, and they're gonna lose top tower now, and then ROCCAT can just swap to the bottom side again and start pushing for enemy tier 2, and they're very far ahead in this lane swap now.
2 towers to 1, 3 kills to 1, 2,000 gold already at 7 minutes. And then Freddy and Betsy are both running teleports. I think that's very crucial because HUMA, like their comp I think is better when all of their parts are together. When you have Lulu plus Lucian and Kindred and running around. That's going to be difficult when there's 2 teleports to deal with.
I mean, Lissandra is a fantastic pick. She's one of the most... Okay, I'm not going to call her underrated because she's obviously rated very highly, but I think she's one of the absolute strongest mid lane picks because she also very often forces cleanse from the enemy mid laner. And then she runs TP every time. So you get a massive advantage here because you now have side lane pressure from Lissandra coming in, and she's obviously great when it comes to engaging fights. Will be a problem late game for Betsy against a Lolo composition with proper engages because bursting down that one target is not going to happen, so you ult yourself instead and you create a massive zone. But ROCCAT right now, very far ahead in the lane swap. Bot lane tower didn't even go down, obviously, because Freddy was there to defend. HUMA tried to fight their way out, but here in Europe, we don't fight our way out of lane. We literally just trade towers over and over. We make our viewers fall asleep.
We do fight over Rift Herald.
That is one thing we do fight
If there is one thing that EU teams do, I think, a little more frequently, oh, Rift Herald's available? Let's group and go 3v3.
But, like, again, the mentality for so many teams in Europe, not G2, but a lot of other teams, is like, if we can win the game without ever fighting, that's the way we want to play.
G2 slowed down recently.
But got some kills there.
I mean, that's true, but...
They are definitely the team who is looking to fight.
ROCCAT were looking to fight and working out in their favor. Pillar of Ice from Freddy will really just hold HUMA in place. There's support from ROCCAT coming as Betsy was making his way through the jungle. He decides against it. Some pings there onto Betsy's position. He didn't actually spot out the pink ward. Don't think he walked into the bush. So HUMA with some relatively good vision being cleared out. Thanks to, that was the Raptor buff. Yep, side of Airwax. Walk in the bush, walk in the bush. The classic, doesn't it? It's just
you don't want to waste time walking in there.
Oh,
really gets a stack.
Like, does get a stack.
If you end up looking and there's nothing, you just feel like a fool. It's better to not look and just ignore it. Because you never knew, right?
Double negative, double negative.
I mean, I feel like having to walk all the way in there, waste about a second.
It would have been 3. I think that's fair.
I guess because you have to kill the pink ward as well.
Well, then it's much longer.
Yeah, but so
to check, just to like security check it. Well, Airwax is going to secure his Raptor camp. Go start off on the Bramble back. Even lane CS between Betsy and Godbro. Holy Phoenix has farmed up an advantage. However, he's down a tower and 2 assists and a cull. So Tabs is going to get that little boost of income once 49 more CS is picked up. Godbro's going for slightly more old school build, working towards the spooky ghosts. Something I'm seeing a little more frequently, but it's still not something I'd consider popular.
No, it's the Faker build on Lulu. I think it's the best build. Frost Queens into Lichbane, and you just speed around the map with so much extra movement speed, and you play again. As we talked about with HUMA's comp here, it's going to be team fighting later, but early on, you want to try and catch people off a little bit. You have pretty good single target DPS. Use the Frost Queens on Lulu, her extra speed with Whimsy, which again here on 6.5 is not nerfed just yet. And you just slow one down and you have the good single target damage. Rudy joins in. And it becomes very annoying to play against because she will catch you out if you are slightly behind your team. Obviously, again, it's going to be hard for Godbro to go to side lanes because of the lack of teleport, where ROCCAT will have the double TP as highlighted earlier, so that's where it becomes tricky. And HUMA might just opt into big team fights. Like, it is often the way out if you, as a team, don't feel like you have a macro game plan. It just becomes like, all right, let's try and team fight our way out. And that's where it becomes very difficult against this massive frontline ROCCAT is built.
Interestingly, for both challenger teams that entered the finals, HUMA and Copenhagen Wolves, that was the strategy that worked against Inspire Millennium. Inspire Millennium was sort of the macro that the map play teams who somewhat fell to pieces once their opponents learned. Once their opponents saw, oh, this is how that team plays around, let's force them into fights. And HUMA and Copenhagen Wolves like brute force their way through the challenger playoffs. Now HUMA unable to brute force their way because ROCCAT's individually matching them or bettering them over the past game and a half.
And also, it's just a big difference in the practice you've been getting the last, 2-3 months. Like, one team's been playing against all the best teams in Europe, over and over in lane swaps and in standard lanes, and have seen everything almost. HUMA's been playing Challenger, so it's a big difference in practice. Brax is going in.
He is indeed. The body slam connects onto Rudy. Defensive play from HUMA. No summoners blown. It looked way more exciting than it turned out to be.
Well, nothing for Gabbro though with his build, and this one of the still very strong things about Frost Queens is on your first back, you know, when you get your first item there, you get so much mana regen very, very early. It's very cheap, get a bit of full coming in as well. And Lulu is actually a very strong laner, so as long as you can keep playing aggressive in lane, you can keep pushing it and having pressure, and that's where the early mana regen pays off a lot for her. Everything else is just an added bonus, obviously.
Hey, killing the pink ward.
Yeah, but this time he was actually walking this way around anyway, so it was pretty easy for him to just put in a ward and check.
A lot of information gained from here, but doesn't change the fact there's still 2,000 gold down. Tabs and Noxiac pushing out the bottom lane. Freddy with teleport available. He's pushing in the top lane. So ROCCAT can now... they can now wait for HUMA to pull a trigger and then just use their double TP advantage to turn something around. Or push towards a tower and make a proactive play themselves.
Well, right now they're waiting for the first item to be completed before they go super aggressive as well. Like, you want your Rod of Ages now on Betsy, you want to get your Essence Reaver on Sivir. So you're like kind of one back away from starting to play the map and set up this 1-3-1. Put Tabs mid lane soon, put Betsy side lane, and just apply pressure on both side lanes. And HUMA is forced to like engage on you. Forced to fight. Yeah, again, look at the great early game with Ko coming in. Dragon is being started will be picked up because also Gragas show top lane, allowing Freddy to push out. Gabbro might even stop him here.
Betsy's in trouble. Self-cast on the tomb. There's support coming from Noxiac in the middle lane. Betsy roots Gabbro down. The Eye of the Storm Shield will keep Betsy alive. Howling Gale knocks Gabbro into the air. Flash and Cleanse has been used. Blue buff is still around. Look at the support from Airwax. Glacial Path comes down. Betsy's looking for a target. The Eye of the Storm Shield saves Betsy's life once more. A 2-for-1. No, Summoners is what I was looking at. They got a kill.
They got a kill.
2-on-1. There we go.
Gabbro flashing in, trying to get it.
I mean, it was so good till the ending.
Noxiac was pulled away because it was a 2-for-1 fight, a 2v1 fight.
Thank you.
And now it means Holy Phoenix gets some damage on bot tower, won't be able to take it down though. So Gabbro, he saw the kill right in front of him. Oh, he's probably in shop, you know, he's ready to bite at Rod of Ages. He's not gonna ult himself, I'm just gonna flash on him and kill him. Sees the recall, stops the recall.
Thought it was Smitty J.
Yeah, true. Betsy though is he's here and he's ready, and Noxiac is coming as well. So with the shield, Gabbro is not able to burst him down. And therefore you end up giving a kill over to Betsy.
Very lucky there for Betsy, and Noxiac was as close as he was. Noxiac was just moving in towards that lane. And, the fourth kill now secured for ROCCAT. 2 into Betsy's hands, 1 for Airwax, 1 for Freddy. And 100% kill participation for Noxiac on his Janna. Somewhat, something you want to do on a Janna. Be involved, save everyone.
I think it doesn't matter which champion you play. If you can have 100% kill participation, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, that is a Captain Obvious thing to say.
I mean, I feel like it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Maybe on a tournament you don't want to assist because you just want to play push only, but Willem is going ham.
Yeah, he's flashed for this. Rudy's followed suit. It's a 2-on-1. Freddy's already used his flash and his subjugate to stay alive. Will get taken down as Rudy gets yet another stack on his passive. The rest of ROCCAT just putting some vision down and pushing bottom, but yeah, all in for that. That felt personal.
And Rudy right now sitting on 14 stacks for himself. Devourer got 2 stacks as the Kindred. 14 Devour stacks, and now Gabbro is.
Did you even see that one? Did you blink?
No, I was looking at the Devour stacks over here and getting all hyped up about that, and then Gabbro dies.
Yeah, pretty much insta-give. No flash, no cleanse. Easy pickup for ROCCAT. So, at the cost of Freddy's life, they get another kill on Gabbro, and they get an outer turrets. Maybe they'll lose Rift Herald as well, but EU teams, man, they might fight for it. Take a look. Airwax is moving in. Body slam is available, as is Flash. Gonna dash forward. Gets the double body slam. Glacial Path follows forward. Eye of the Storm not available yet because Janna's just arrived. They kill off Whirlip.
I mean, your mid laner just died. You're like, Rift Herald, guys?
We can do it quickly. We can do it quickly.
That was
optimistic. That was an optimistic call.
Yeah.
Well, HUMA give up their 6th kill. ROCCAT have got a 4,000 gold lead at 17 minutes.
I mean, your mid laner just died. And the enemy is standing in the mid lane. Oh, another kill for ROCCAT. Good to see still a Whirlip together with Rudy. Have been a combination for HUMA. They have to play around almost, but Trundle into Poppy. Poppy's never really getting the point where she's just gonna completely volley out the Trundle and become that massive split pusher we normally see from Whirlip. It's why Jax is being banned away. It's why they favor the jungle pick so early from ROCCAT. Remember, it was the first pick. And now we are seeing a ROCCAT team who's been winning lane swap 2 games in a row. This one was HUMA who did lane swap because I think they expected a 2v2 on top side. They expected ROCCAT to just lane swap again, and they're like, this time we'll get you. Sadly, the mind games coming in from ROCCAT.
I wish you guys could have seen body language. Aha! I get you. You went like Sherlock Holmes on that one.
Yeah.
Throwing your hand
Trying,
into the air. It was good.
I want to be an actor.
With the waistcoat and everything, like it works. You know? Got that element about you. ROCCAT will sneak away a lot of damage under this tower. Actually, may be able to pick it up. Will survive just barely. Noxiac, AOX, and Betsy move away. They've got a 4,000 gold lead for now. 2 minutes until 20, and if they can go higher than 4K, that will be their largest gold lead at 20 minutes they've had all split long.
And now we just see exactly the same setup as last game. You know, Betsy's extremely far ahead on this his pick here. He can just go to side lane and push. Taps is on the fantastic 80 carry duty he played all of Season 3 with Lemon Dogs with. Being like, oh, Taps, you done laning? Okay, go mid. Push lane mid, do nothing else. Just push, push, push. Yeah. And then Nuke Dog was sitting side lane, and so Zero was sitting the other side lane. Just keep pushing and winning the side lanes. And
those were the good old days.
Good old days, you know, 80 carries, they really enjoyed playing, just sitting, wave playing mid over and over.
Back in the day, best solo laners in the split.
And that is what Taps is doing again now, because that is his role in this team, and that's also why Sivir is so fantastic, because you don't need to give her kills or anything. She had so much utility, she's good at pushing in these waves, and she's very safe. Also,
wave clear and press R. That's why I play Sivir. It's concepts I can understand.
It's great, especially if your team wants to run a 1-3-1 setup.
Doesn't automatically guarantee victories, though. You still need to team fight correctly. Isn't that right, Deficio?
That is correct. I mean, you make some good statements today, Trevor.
Yes.
I feel like,
yes.
You know, having 100% kill participation is nice on Janna. I agree with you on that one, and you have to
not
team
true
fight
anymore, by the way.
correctly.
Not true. Noxiac is not
it's not good anymore.
Because he's not 100% kill participation.
Yeah, he just had that 100%.
Yeah. Well, tower secured.
I just need to write down all these stuff, and I'm going to use it later.
We can make a series of grayscale motivational posters. Kill participation is good.
100%.
100% kill participation is good.
90% is okay, it's not good.
No, it's not good. No, 90% is not acceptable. Regardless, the gold lead that has been accrued will be ROCCAT's largest, as you mentioned. Last time they dealt this kind of lead at 20 minutes was against Giants. We're into slightly unfamiliar territory because we've not seen how ROCCAT play with the lead in the mid-game to close up. Their Game 1 performance was very good.
Yes.
And now we need to see if they can do that again, because...
I mean, normally in the LCS, it's get a goal lead early, and then kind of
fall apart.
Do nothing for about 10-15 minutes, and then fall apart completely late game.
ROCCAT's 10-minute numbers were good. And then from 10 to 20, it all went to hell.
Yeah, and then late game, it went really bad.
Yes.
Even in games where they were very far ahead. So it's one of the big things for ROCCAT. We heard Airwax talk about it, you know, coming into this game, how getting a lead with Betsy is pretty easy because they have good synergy together, but they're not really using it to get the other lanes going. And then also, he didn't say this, I'm just adding the next part now. Also, the late game calling from ROCCAT was a big issue, and like playing team fights properly. As you just said before, Trevor, you need to be able to execute these team fights.
Even with Sivir.
Even with Sivir.
And
it gets easier.
Almost 100% kill participation, Janna.
It gets easier with the Sivir, but
joke already, I think.
Yeah, well, let's keep using it.
All right, okay, if you say so. ROCCAT pushing their vision significantly deeper this time round, but their lead is much, much more noticeable. And ROCCAT haven't needed to use those teleports since, well, actually since that big engage about 10 minutes ago where Freddy came to help out Tabs. And
yeah, that was just like, I don't think Betsy's used his team yet. I mean, there's not really been anything
just in lane.
Before because you have been getting everything. Now you get the full jungle control. Again, this is what we talked about last game. Just repeating it, 1-3-1 in, you take control of the...
And great vision around Baron.
And it's very important as a team, you know, when you play 1-3-1. Find your strongest lane. So in this case, it's going to be the Lissandra lane, and play around that lane.
Scary. Airwax doesn't commit, though, because only Janna behind him. Only Janna behind him. So nobody else around. Tabs pushing up the middle lane. The 1-3-1 is in full effect. Airwax is deciding where he wants to prioritize his time.
And at this point, you know, Baron is spawning. It is spawned already, so in a few minutes you can start threatening the Baron, and that's again where this is, it's a slow play obviously from ROCCAT. Keep that vision going, keep standing out of the enemy vision, because they're always saying like, oh, is they going, are they going mid now? Maybe I'm down top. You know, are they setting up Baron potentially? So you always have to at some point move in and check. Rudy is trying to chase Betsy, not gaining anything from it. Not gonna be able to. But again, at some point you have to walk into that jungle. You have to see like, okay, they're probably on Baron, we gotta go stop it. Use the blue trinket. 1, 2, 3. The fourth one, nothing you can do. You have to walk in. Maybe he'll get Noxiac.
Noxiac gets caught, and Cast unfortunately will not find anything else.
He's keeping the tower in place.
Walks away, but that was a tower defense maneuver.
It was.
It works out because ROCCAT do not commit any further. Rudy's still working towards Devourer, by the way. 23 minutes in, I think it's about 26 or 27 stacks. 25 stacks, in fact. No additional gain since the last time I checked, so fairly late, and still needs a lot more time before Rudy's damage is relevant.
And again, for ROCCAT, it doesn't have to be flashy right now. Just keep pushing in your lanes, get a bit of damage on every tower whenever you can. Mid tower right now is poked down to about 60%, so one more push, get it down to 20%, and the next one, you take the tower and you take all auto turrets, and suddenly you're like 26 minutes in, you can start taking the Baron or forcing a team fight around it, because once HUMA walks in blind to stop the Baron, with your double TP, you will have wards behind them. TP in from Betsy and Freddy. Smack. Teamfight should be won pretty much instantly. It has to say smack.
24-minute cookie again. Betsy's a little bit hungry. Just of ROCCAT looking to get fed. Invading onto the blue buff. The Sentinel is the target. Will it? Steadfast presence will prevent any further body slam. Smite away from Rudy, but look at that pillar of ice. 4 members of HUMA locked in place. The hammer will split up ROCCAT, and the culling does pretty good damage onto Airwax, but it simply won't be enough. Tabs in full retreat. This is all over a blue buff. All the while, it was a big team fight. Teleport and flash used by Betsy. Flash and cleanse used by Godbro.
Yeah, Betsy got interrupted by Godbro. He actually jumped in, interrupted him with Whimsy, but then had to flash away and cleanse after Betsy tried to kill him in that 1v1 on top.
ROCCAT somewhat overextend. Gets a little caught out in the jungle. They didn't have that teleport from Betsy complete, and HUMA get the buff, but on the right target.
So this is just a little bit of the setup going wrong for ROCCAT, because it's actually a good play, because you have TP advantage on top side. Betsy just has to actually run back in the lane before this play even happens. So Godbro can just walk in and interrupt him like this, because if Betsy TP is in here, that's instantly 3-4 kills from ROCCAT, because it's a 4v5. Godbro is doing nothing on top side. There's no tower he can push. That's just a setup going a little bit wrong for ROCCAT. 5 seconds before, you say we're gonna contest this blue buff. Betsy move back in lane. We've already pushed you. Just step back in the bush, out of vision, then be ready to TP in, and then we take this fight here. Or HUMA is like, okay, we can't take the fight. Maybe Godbro here were calling. I can see him, so you can fight 4v4. You can contest the blue because I can interrupt him, and that's where it went wrong for ROCCAT, and it could have been a lot more. And these are the kind of plays, again, you will get when you have this TP Lissandra in the side lane against a no TP user because of cleanse. Freddy is getting ganked. We've seen this before.
TP user Freddy's a lot stronger than the last time this happened, and he's putting a lot of the hurt down onto Whirlip. The hammer will keep Freddy in place just long enough for Rudy to pick up the kill, get himself another stack, but at what cost? The rest of ROCCAT are grouped around the top lane. Last time this happened, Freddy died, ROCCAT got a tower.
And this is again where ROCCAT has been struggling in the LCS, and they're doing the same thing here. They're still ahead in gold, but they're reacting very slow. 2-man dive bot lane, Tap should have been top lane already with Noxiac, and 4-man push in on that tower, and you take tower for the 1 kill. Kind of hesitating, running between the jungle, being like, oh, maybe I have to go back and push another wave, or can we really do anything top? I mean, there's no summoners on Godbro. This is where you are ready.
Should have just committed.
Yeah, the call is basically from Freddy, like, push up every lane. If I'm getting ganked, you guys have to be able to take a tower. Like, you're 4v3 with no summoners on the Lulu, and we are 6,000 gold ahead. And ROCCAT is, again, hesitating on the call. They're not really in a position to punish, and it's another kill then for HUMA, and they're getting a low bit, and it just ultimately just kind of slows down the game. Wave ROCCAT wave takes to property. Whirlip is getting dived now.
He's in a little bit of trouble. Betsy's the one tanking up the turret. Airwax will have some support as Tabs and Noxiac come running in on the hunt. Wild growth from Godbro keeps Whirlip alive. Body slam will throw Airwax back into the fray, and Cast looking for the death sentence. Flash, wind, and miss. No flay to fire off that time. Turret secured by ROCCAT. And they back away as HUMA has the numbers advantage.
Get the tower a little bit later than they should have, and obviously lost the dragon for it. So it is technically 2 dragons for HUMA, but we don't care about dragons. Because Going 5 dragons at this point is going to be close to impossible for HUMA. And then ROCCAT would have to make a series of mistakes for that to even happen.
And it was that dragon that gave Rudy the say to devour it. Our observers did show us that moments ago. Nice little animation. So there is some additional damage, but he's got to get through. He's got to get through Randian's Omen and makings of some 5k per Airwax maybe. Got make Iceborne Gauntlet on Freddy. And it's just this, it's so difficult for them to push all the way through all of that damage, while simultaneously trying to worry about Betsy and Tabs.
Yeah, and it's small things for HUMA they're getting.
Yeah.
By ROCCAT being a little bit slow, reacting around the map. Again, another kill obviously against Freddy in the 2v1, which would technically have Freddy doing his job, applying pressure and pulling down an extra member. Overall, though, ROCCAT are still ahead, and now we are at the point where we start baiting Baron.
Yep.
Obviously, we're 27, 28 minutes in. Set up that vision again in the jungle, push in the lane with Lissandra, and then put pressure there around the Baron, because you can TP in behind with both Lissandra and Trundle. And you want to take that fight sooner than later, because going late game, the further you get into the game, the more stacks are on this Kindred, as an example. Poppy obviously extremely tanky as well later on. It always just gives a higher chance of the enemy team actually coming back into the game.
Yeah. I really like the pink wards that ROCCAT have picked up this time around. 4 of them in the river around Baron. It's not super deep, but we'll give them control, know that they're safe, and that additional spot for Airwax. Means Airwax can buy a Balmy Cinder once he picks up a kill. Tabs is going to run down Cast. Well, Airwax is going to pull support. Tabs does get himself a kill before he's pinned against the wall by the Surge. Welip is now under threat as 3 members of ROCCAT are shutting him down. This is a fight on many fronts. A flash away as Freddy jumps onto Lamb's respite. Rudy is moving out of the ultimate. He gets taken down. 3 quick kills for ROCCAT, and they can break open HUMA's base.
Again, exactly the setup we mentioned here. Get the vision there. You talked about the pink wards in river.
Yeah.
HUMA starts walking closer and closer, like they want to get close enough to pop in the blue trinket, maybe put over a ward on the side. But when you're against a severe composition, also Braggers to engage with Sandra, it is very easy for ROCCAT to start fights. Textbook play here from ROCCAT, and HUMA didn't really have much of a choice. That is what happens when you fall this far behind, when you lose the lane swaps and you can't contest side lanes. With this Lulu into Lissandra, you cannot contest side lanes. This is not a replay, by the way. This is these guys' replay.
They're getting themselves out.
I can hear the replay.
I think somebody's just going to push a different button. But regardless, Airwax is going to complete the Deadman's Plate with his Giant's Belt. And here's the replay. No. We're being trolled.
It's not a replay.
Sorry.
Again, it's not a replay.
Apologies
Yeah,
to everybody at home.
Deadman's Plate. Can still get the Sunfire, as you said, if he gets the Balmy Cinder now with the chainmail.
Just got ahead of myself. I wanted to see it.
Well, so this is the fight basically starting.
Yes. Cast being focused.
Obviously, again, HUMA is walking through mid lane, which is the correct choice, but they had to still push so far up the lane, and there's options of TP behind from Freddy, so it's not purely a face check, but it's the play around it. And the fight itself, Freddy tanking up. Ulti being popped by Rudy here, kind of strange, honestly, almost saving Freddy in a sense. He wouldn't have died, but Rudy was full HP at the point he popped the ulti. Still, when you do want to go in and try and check the Baron, you gotta push up mid first. It still sets up for their flanks. ROCCAT is in absolute full control.
12,000 gold up at 31 minutes. It is a matter of semantics as Tabs can push in any way he wants. Freddy, even though he doesn't have TPs, down that bottom lane dealing with Whirler. Look at this, Airwax and Betsy in the top lane. Tabs has basically played PvE all game long. Tower's gonna fall. Airwax will get caught by the Flay, and HUMA looking to engage. 4 members up top, but look at the damage to the base. Tabs has been able to put a lot of DPS into that mid inhibitor turret, about 70–80% of its health. And the rest of ROCCAT, they're not even backing away just yet.
And very easy for ROCCAT also to itemize in this game. We talked about the Dragons before. Just stack a ton of armor, honestly. Yep. Kindred, Poppy, Lucian.
Yeah, no real, I mean, Lulu's gonna have some magic damage, but at this stage,
that's it, but that's not relevant making either.
Be a huge amount. Freddy's just gonna try 1v2 here. He's gonna fight his way through both Whirlib and Rudy. Backs away, finds the support of Noxec, decides to go back in, gets a chomp down the barrel, throws Cast into Tabs' waiting hands. Boomerang Blade may have the damage, but it won't find a target. Tabs and the rest of ROCCAT turn their attention to the Nexus turrets. As the Baron buff is still wearing off. 30 seconds left on the clock. ROCCAT in commanding fashion, looking to close this game out. They got themselves a lead from a confident teleport play, and ROCCAT are just one dead Nexus away from re-qualifying for the Summer Splits.
And I think we've seen two games here where ROCCAT's pick and ban phase, in my opinion, is a lot stronger in what they're building here. The Lulu Lucian first rotation from HUMA in this game, definitely not a fan of it. Giving over Gragas one more time in what you expect to be another game where HUMA most likely will have to fight their way out. So it becomes very skirmish focused, but you don't get ahead early on to actually set up that skirmish properly. I love the Lissandra pick, force and cleanse. You play side lanes one more time if you're ROCCAT. You know the 1-3-1 setup. And whenever there is a opening for a fight, you have Sivir ulti, you have Gragas jumping in, you have Lissandra jumping in. It's very easy to engage these fights here and just catch out HUMA. There were a few mistakes in this game from ROCCAT. We highlighted them.
Yeah.
Not enough, though, to actually lose the entire game.
Not big enough to even give HUMA much control, really. Right. One or two small misplays in terms of positioning in the lane, but Airwax on that Gragas. Again, another game where he's in the right place at the right time. He's landing the barrels correctly, and you know, the Gragas Silver, we talked a lot about it. We're going to hear from the analyst desk to talk about ROCCAT's second win in this best of 5.
Yes, indeed. Second win and one game away from requalifying for the LCS. You loved that comp so much. You talked about it the entire game. So recap, what is so beautiful about it?
First of all, I just love this comp. It's really hard to explain without going on a long rant, but it has a really solid 1-3-1 in the mid game that you can get to in any way possible. If you standard lanes, the play pattern is Sivir Janna pushing the tower overall. You mid laner pushes up, roams bot, and either dives or threatens a dive. And then when you get one tower, you do the same on every lane. And then you 1-3-1 in the mid game where you push the side lanes and do the same. In the lane swap, you have the tempo advantage. We talked a little bit about off-air. Jankos, this is where you just say Crepo. Yeah, so smart.
I mean, I'm sorry again. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
What do
Never
you think
mind.
about this comp?
Never mind. I mean,
How do you
yeah.
get it?
So basically, you just 1-3-1 and you win everything, like you just said. Because, well, Trundle is really OP right now, and then Lissandra can always push, even if she doesn't have the strongest 1v1 matchup. She will still be able to push the lane. And then, yeah, Sivir right now is kind of broken too. With Janna, you cannot catch them, you cannot kill them. So yeah, this comp seems really strong.
So
And I just realized that you all played it against us, and we had some issues too. But it was more on us.
they played this exact comp?
I mean, they played a little bit different picks in jungle and support, but the whole comp, the idea was the same.
Yeah, the fundamentals is the Lissandra plus Sivir, and then you could replace Trundle for Poppy or any strong split pushes, but it really relies on the fact that, as Jankos just said, Lissandra can always push, or what we call sometimes like a force push. Even when you're getting pushed in generally, you can just take a bad trade and just push it and then go to the bot lane and roam, and then you can threaten and dive, because it doesn't matter if you arrive on half HP or full HP, you always can be able to ulti yourself. And then the dive is so hard for the enemy bot lane to deal with. It's so hard if you're Lucian Thresh. You just have to give up the tower. But
So
it doesn't happen because it was a lane swap.
you guys were very vocal about the comp, and you were also very vocal about the lane swap and, well, HUMA's inadeptness to, well, do it correctly. But we'd like you to back that up, of course, because here we don't flame without showing why.
Yeah, so it all starts here with the early gank on Betsy. Feelings, thoughts, Yank?
I mean, this is kind of weird because sometimes you can gank like early game before the first status goes down, but you have to be sure that you will be able to take the turret in time. And what happens right now is that, well, HUMA is so slow on the turret compared to ROCCAT that, you know, it's kind of done, and then Lissandra didn't even use flash. And right now they are trying to cheese because they are so much slower, so they're just going behind opponents. But I mean, they are just kind of weaker, and it's 3v3 instead of 3v4 because Lucian is already bot lane, so they are just giving kind of free kill to Trundle. So again, it's showing a point that ROCCAT is so much better in lane swaps, getting some free kills, being faster, being smarter. Yeah, I mean, the players are just better, what can I say here? It seems like HUMA is trying stuff, but it seems like they are just not thinking enough.
Yeah, the whole level 2 and 3 gank mid is fine at certain points in the game. If you do it maybe a little later to surprise, and more importantly, if you're ahead in the tempo. But the whole reason that I love this comp so much is that you can push earlier, maybe a wave earlier on the tower in the bot lane if you want to. Janna Sivir, just Sivir on level 2 has access to Ricochet and Boomerang. Both get amplified with AD bonus from the Janna shield. She just annihilates the wave. If you have like a Poppy or Trundle with that, the wave dies so quickly that you can spend so much time hitting the tower and you can get it down so much earlier, which gives you, yeah, time, tempo, call it whatever you want, whichever buzzword, but it just puts you so far ahead of the play that if then the enemy also makes a mistake, the game is kind of over from the start.
But here HUMA is in an absolute bind then, because when I asked you after the first game and after the first mistakes in the lane swap, what are you supposed to do when you don't know what to do? You said, well, you can't find yourself in that situation because your coach should have shown you how. Obviously, they're not going to pick it up in between game 2 and game 3. So in my opinion, that doesn't bode very well, and I feel like ROCCAT has an open door just to take this next one.
I mean, apparently you are a challenger team and you don't know how to lane swap, which is like the most basic thing that happens in the LCS right now. And I do think lane swapping is hard because, well, you have to practice it a lot and you cannot fail it. Like, you should be always even if you play it correctly. But the thing is, better team usually comes out ahead of the lane swap because they are just kind of smarter and faster and they know what to do. So right now we have the same thing, you know. We have a challenger team that apparently doesn't know how to do it. And then we have ROCCAT that has experience and just pulling out every game, and they are faster, they're smarter, and yeah, I just don't see HUMA winning next game.
Okido, well, we will see what happens. It could be the final game, and we're going to take a quick break because